What is going on, you guys? Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at Enshrouded and 10 big tips that you want to know when first starting out. It's going to save you a ton of time and a lot of things I didn't understand that end up making the game a lot easier for you at the beginning and midway through the game. Now, one of the first big things you want to do when you start Enshrouded, you want to make sure you grab the glider and the grappling hook as quick as you possibly can in this game. The reason being, it's going to allow you to travel a lot of places a lot faster. As you can see, it's going to allow me to jump off towers and glide from multiple different areas across the terrain. It's going to make walking this insanely huge map much easier. These are actually fairly easy to unlock. Once you get a base set up in your starting area or wherever you end up landing at, you can just make a workbench, jump in here, and the glider and the grappling hook will be craftable in here. It just takes some basic supplies, and I'm going to go over most of these supplies and how to get them very quickly a little bit later in this video. Next is the durability of your weapons in Enshrouded. So your weapons and tools themselves have that green durability bar just below the actual weapon itself. Now, unlike a lot of other games, Enshrouded has made it extremely easy to repair your weapons. You get to do it completely for free at the workbench again. And if you just hit E to craft and repair, you can see it will automatically repair all items. And you can see my axe is back up to full. So don't panic, all your stuff is completely free to repair. And as you can see here, there are also different anvils scattered across the map that you're going to also have access to, which you can then repair all of your gear right there instead of going all the way back to your home. So keep an eye out for these. Now, one of the big things here you can see when we're in our village by our little cooking stone here, you have 3 spots in the upper left hand corner that are going to represent your actual bonuses that you can get from food. If you click E to cook here, all you actually have to do is put a food item in your hot slot, transfer over to that food item that is available to cook, and then just hold left click to actually cook it. Now we can see, looking in our inventory, the red mushroom gives you +1 intelligence, but if you actually cook the mushroom, it gives you +2 intelligence, so double the bonus, and the time is also doubled from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. So every piece of food that you can get that you can cook, you should cook it because it's going to give you a much bigger bonus overall. You can see if we also sit down and cook this raw lean meat, we're going to be able to check it out, and it is going to give us +1 constitution for 20 minutes. You can see from one of these bonuses, increases to constitution give you 50 bonus health. Early on in the game, that makes everything so much easier to play. Make sure you have active bonuses like this stacked up, so that way you can see the bonuses in the upper left and be taking advantage of all of those. Now, something that's extremely useful early game is to find honey. You can find honey attached to a tree. You can either chop the tree down or simply just harvest it from the tree directly. And you can see honey here is an in-hand item. So this will give you +15 stamina for 3 minutes. And you can find this all over the map. So this is really good to be able to take, use, and get the bonus from it. Another important thing to go along with cooking is making sure you go near some sort of fire or you sleep so you get your rested bonus for 10 minutes. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're not near your immediate home, you can see my rested bonus in the top left is going down. All you have to do is pop down a campfire. It's simply made with 2 logs. Then once you go to actually cook or sit on it, you can see your rested bonus will go up to 10 minutes once again. Now, another very important thing you want to start off early in the game with is most of, if not all of, your companions. The main reason why is because your companions give you direct access to a ton of different crafting supplies, a ton of different crafting things such as armor, one-handed weapons, lockpicks, all kinds of stuff, magic abilities, magic gear, and everything you can think of to make your life easier. So while it's perfectly okay to explore early in the game and get used to everything in the areas, ideally you want to try and hunt down all of these NPCs and complete all 5 of the quests as fast as humanly possible. Now, this is one of the bigger deals. So once you get to where you unlock the hunter in Enshrouded, you just go up to her and craft her, and make sure you craft a small backpack. Now, to do that, you're going to have to craft a drying rack with wood logs and string. The small backpack actually requires torn cloth, which you get naturally throughout the game, string, which is the same, and dried fur. You need 0 out of 4 dried fur to craft the backpack. All you have to do is go over to the drying rack, and in order to craft 4 dried fur, essentially all you need to do is get animal fur and salt. So one great spot when you're trying to find salt is simply, you can look from your little starter home area, and it's just going to be right next to the ancient vault for the alchemist. It's going to be the Egerton salt mines, and all you have to do is come here and mine some salt. And as you can see here, I'm just mining salt, and I'm getting an absolute ton of it. And once we get all of our 4 dried fur, we can jump in here and craft the backpack, and we'll get the +8 extra inventory slots, which is a big deal in the early game. Now, one big tip is once you get one of your flame altars, you can simply just craft one in the crafting menu. You can see with 5 stone, it takes almost nothing to craft. And then once you get into some sort of place where you can put it down, you can simply put it here, and it then becomes a point where you can fast travel to. So you can do this anywhere on the map as you would like. And once you begin to strengthen and level up your flame, you can see you get an altar activation capacity, and it raises by 2 every time you level this up, meaning I can go from now having 4 altars across the map to 6. So once you unlock most of the map, you're going to have a lot of actual altars here that you can place down. And essentially it's beneficial again because you get that fast travel point wherever that actually is located. Now, one big thing you can actually use this for is always carry 1 or 2 with you, so you can set one as a fast travel point to be able to go back and forth between. And then once you no longer need it, you can simply just hit E. You can extinguish this flame. What it's going to do is tell you the altar is now deactivated. Once it gets deactivated completely, we're going to see it disappear from this map. You're going to go back to only 1 use because I only have the one from my original home, and then you have it available again. So you can use it as a personal fast travel point. So if you go into an area where you think you may die and you can put it down, you can put it down, have it there as a fast travel point. Now, one big thing early on is the ability to store items in storage chests like this. Now, these are going to be a little difficult to make early on, and you're going to be wondering, where do I get a large amount of metal fragments from so I can make these small chests? Because you need to make nails. So nails are made at the blacksmith, but they need metal fragments to be made. And the best way to get those is simply to run right over here to Rookmore. You can run over here and fight a ton of these enemies, as you can see, that are going to all drop metal fragments. It's going to make it very easy for you to get them at the beginning of the game. But the big thing here is once you make these storage chests, crafting is an absolute pain because you have to come in here and grab everything that you're going to craft, sort it, etc., right? But what you can do is once you rescue the carpenter, you can actually go into the carpenter's inventory and you can build a small magic chest. All it takes is a small chest and a shroud core. Now, to make a shroud core, you can talk right here to the alchemist. Once you rescue him, you can make shroud cores with shroud spores that you get throughout the shroud by fighting enemies, etc. And shroud liquid that are going to be these little balls that are found on the ground that you can pick and get them very, very easily. As you can see, once we have our shroud core here, and we also have our actual small chest, you always want to transfer this to a magic chest. And the big thing with this is it offers extra storage, and any item that is in here can be crafted from without having to pull it out and put it into your inventory every single time. So you want to put all your materials for crafting in this chest, so you never have to just jump back and forth. You can just dump all your materials in there and craft without ever having to grab it out. It is the best investment so far I've found in this entire game. And one final tip that's cost me a decent amount of stuff that I obviously don't want you guys to make and wasted a decent bit of my time is deaths in this game. So deaths in this game are fairly forgiving, especially considering the fact that when you die, you only lose certain items, meaning you only lose certain items from your inventory. Other items that aren't replaceable or certain ones in particular don't actually drop from your inventory. But one mistake you never want to make is a mistake I made very early on multiple times, and that's dying in this shrouded red zone. Essentially, when you jump off of a cliff, if you're jumping into the shroud, you need to make sure you're looking before you do it, because there's a lot of areas in this game that just have that red like lava patch kind of the shroud down there, and if you jump down there and start gliding and you realize that's all below you, you're RIP. And with the time limit in the shroud, you're just gonna have to wait it out and then you die anyways, and you really can't get out and go get your stuff this way, so you essentially lose everything in your actual inventory. You can see once you touch it, it's literally game over. Or when you enter one of these death shroud zones, if you just run in here without realizing what it is, you get too far in, you can't recover your loot unless you maybe get later on in the game and we figure something out. And additionally, as you can see here, if I jump and I start gliding, and let's say you run out of actual glide that you can use, and all of a sudden you jump down and die because you ran out of glide. 9 times out of 10, especially when you're starting the game like I did, you're going to respawn, you're going to jump down there and go grab your loot. In this case, I happened to run right by where I was, so I noticed it. But when you fall off an area and actually hit the ground and die, your loot actually spawns back up at the top of where you jumped from, so you don't have to jump all the way back down and get it. That being said, those are some of the biggest tips I have for you in Enshrouded to get started, save a lot of time. That being said, if any of these tips helped you, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys. Peace.